Hey, you guys, Cindy here. Happy Friday. So, I want to dive into this topic. It's absolutely one of my favorite, talking about smart, successful women like yourself out there, and everything else is going great in your life. And the only thing missing is this, you know, lasting love piece, right? I would love to hear from you if you're in that place. Just say, raise your hand, wave, or just put a one in the comment box if that fits who you are. So, many smart, successful women out there, they're smart, they're successful, they've got a lot of great things going on in their life, they're busy. And what can happen. So I'm going to talk about the plus side and the minus side that happens is, because you're so smart, hey Bobby, what happens is that you might overthink yourself into opening up to potential love and lasting partnership. So let me explain that a little bit. So you're driven, and we utilize a lot of masculine energy when it comes to creating a connection. Well, I'm going to go back to that. We utilize a lot of masculine energy when it comes to work. It's go, we've got goals to meet, they're measurable goals. You know exactly what you're focused on. You're on a project, you're on the next project, right? And it becomes so, hey, Allie, it becomes so easy to be so focused on that and to convince yourself that, love gets to go on the back burner, that this area of my life has been painful or it hasn't, gotten me where I want it to be. So it's easier just to focus on the things that I have in my control. So smart, successful women, they, we have the tendency to be, and I'm going to put myself in that category, we have the tendency to be controlling, and we have the tendency to be results oriented, right? We want to see the results. And when it comes to matters of the heart, it's a little bit different. So a couple things I see happen with smart, successful women is that they will treat their love life like they do their business life. They'll go after it, they'll chase it, they might even chase men, and they'll show up in their dating life much like they would in their careers. So what that can create is a competitive energy, and competitive energy can look like, not, comparing who has the most accolades. It's not always about that. Competitive energy could be advice giving to a man. And men don't really like that or one upping them. Men are competitive with each other. And I'm going to tell you something in just a moment here. Men also, from afar, they really admire and would prefer high quality, successful men from afar, admire and prefer a successful woman or a woman that's achieved some form of success. It doesn't need to be, a CEO or Wall Street or whatever, in your mind you think. But they prefer that. And what happens when they get close to a woman like that, and not all of them, but, and I'm going to say this across the board, is what they find is to they're not able to be their masculine energy, be in their masculine energy as much in protecting and providing. Because what usually comes up for a man who's with a woman that's successful, that's achieved some, that is driven in her masculine, he'll think to himself, well, why does she need me? She doesn't, I thought I lost my necklace. Isn't that funny? I, you know, she's got all this going on, and why does she need me? And if there's an energy that comes off of you like that, which is very true for a lot of smart, successful women, and quite frankly, a lot of just independent women that have had to do it on their own, single moms. I mean, let me just go down the line, right? You've had to do it yourself, so they don't see, and you've done a pretty good job. So they have a hard time seeing where they can actually be a part of your life. So that's where softening your energy comes in. And I'm going to get back to that a little bit more on that in a minute. Because this is another thing that's really important. So when we actually lead with that controlling energy, and that energy that I call it Ice Queen, and a lot of times women that are more successful or Saved by the Bell, you guys, I'm going to take you with me to the door. Hold on, sorry. But I'm going to get into this Ice Queen thing, but because this is a really important piece. You guys are like, who's here? The babysitter. Anyway, so let me go back to that piece, that smart, successful woman piece, right? So the thing that we're exuding is when we connect with a man, it can almost be a standoffish, like I said, Ice Queen energy. And I don't know if it's standoffish, but it's more defensive in nature. Has anybody experienced this or felt this even within themselves? And even if you're not that way fully, my guess is there's some thoughts in your brain around that. Or the other side to it is you don't feel like they're as smart as you. So there might be a level of respect for them that is a little lower, or not as much. And so there's these things that I call blocks, and we build them up brick by brick, and they can really build a fortress around us from actually creating a connection. And it could be anything. You could meet somebody and think he's great, and he doesn't cancels a date, and then you go back to your self-worth. Well, I'm not good enough, smart enough. It's just bullshit. I'm really raw today. Sorry, you guys. I've got a little female thing going on that has gotten progressively worse this week. Might be a little TMI, but I feel like you're my family. So it's a bacterial infection that's spreading. So I get to go back to the doctor. So I'm wearing a sweater when it's 75 because I've been cold, now I'm hot. So it's so fun. But anyway, back to you. And I know I'll be fine. So the the other side to this, you guys, if let me know if you've experienced any of that. You've had those thoughts in your brain of, these things, or you think to yourself, maybe the quality of man that I want isn't really online. And so I'm going to do my thing in life. I'm trusting in God, the universe. I'm going to meetup groups. I go to parties and events and, these kind of things. But again, those limiting thoughts can come up too. Like, I'm a professional. I can't, fraternize with professionals in my industry. And I mean, you get to be the judge of that, and you get to look at your life and really look at it from an honest perspective. Do other people in your industry fraternize? Do other people in your industry date? Maybe yes, maybe no. And I've seen time and time again how if you stay open and trust, let go of what the outcome looks like, and take the steps forward and just be open without judgment. And that's where the feminine energy can come in. And, allow yourself to flow, allow yourself to be not a masculine and feminine energy. Allow yourself to have fun and not be attached to a result. So a lot of times we get attached to a result. Well, this needs to happen, and give yourself the time to get to know someone and know, is this somebody that is really interesting to me? Is this somebody that, really fits my value system? And you move slower to move faster later on, and you date. And you open yourself up to that. And then, and maybe it sounds easier said than done, because you might say, Cindy, I've just got so much going on. I've got this, I've got that. If you've got time to watch The Bachelor, you've got time to figure something out in your dating life. You really do. And sometimes, quite frankly, it's scary to make it a priority. I go back to the story a lot because I love it. The story of Amal and George Clooney, how they met, how he pursued her, and how she really stood in her power, yet she was feminine about it too, and really also knew that regardless of what happened with this guy, she was going to be fine and really bring in the relationship her heart desires. I mean, George didn't think that she was interested at first, because they met at this big gala and then they're talking, and Mr. George Clooney is like, well, why don't we go grab a drink? She's like, I've got to get going, but really great meeting you. He's like, what? Nobody turns down George, right? So he found her very interesting, and asked when he could see her, and she had quite a busy schedule, and he pursued it. And then, obviously she said yes, and I won't go into the whole story, but it built up tension, and she was able to be in her feminine and be herself, and yet, have intellectual conversations with him without emasculating him. And also letting him know, because George was kind of a playboy and known to have girlfriends, but not have long-lasting relationships or relationships that led to anywhere. And she was very honest with them. This is what I'm looking for. I'm definitely looking. I do want a partner. I want to get married. I see myself having a family, and I think you're great, and we can definitely be friends. But if that's not you, I'm great with that. And the unattachment piece, and you know, I know this for certain. Successful women can find love to be so challenging. It's one of the most challenging areas. And getting support around those blind spots to help you to navigate that piece, right? And looking at what's going on. And a good place to start is asking your friends. Ask your friends, how do you experience me? What do you think? What do you think might block me from love? What do you think would, you know, and it can be tough with friends because most of our friends are like, you're amazing, you're such a great catch, what the heck, guys are dumb. And there's something there. So we're always the common denominator in things, and we're always, there's an ability to build and grow. So, my message for you today is, you know, if you want lasting love, if it's in your heart, put the effort forth. Do and get support. If what you're doing isn't working, get support. Shoot me a DM. I am more than happy to give you some coaching and support around that, and even hop on a call with you. So you guys, it can be challenging to navigate, especially in this world where people are confused. Men are confused, women are confused, everybody's confused. So, and high value men really do want to show up for you. They want to be in a relationship with you. They're just, and it's not that they feel threatened. So this is something I hear all the time. So I want to say this before I sign off. They don't feel threatened by you, but they feel repelled by the energy that comes across. I'm really in my masculine right now. Man may not like me. But I'm teaching. I'm in that mode. But they get repelled if your energy is this push, push, push. And you know what I mean by that. One of my clients, she's a healer. I was telling her what's going on in my body, and she's doing some healing stuff from afar, and she goes, wow, you really push hard. I said, I do. Because I never thought that, because you make it seem so seamless, and you're in flow, and you laugh, and you're happy, and I just never really picked that up from you. So I've worked really hard to have, I obviously have moments, but to really have this place where I can come from flow, I can be in my power and still embrace and harness that feminine love and energy. And you guys can do it too. So I hope this helps you today. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. Sending love. Have an amazing weekend. I will see you all on Monday. Bye.